Now, this may be a little bit of a hot take here, but I'm pretty confident in saying that I believe that a lot of folks are going to check out this film and really rank it amongst one of their favorite sports films of all time because truly, it's just that good. Folks, I'm super excited. So let's jump into the review of the new film, Young Woman and the Sea. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the new film, Young Woman and the Sea, coming to theaters May 31st. So this incredible story, based on a true story at that, is a film that when I saw this trailer back at CinemaCon 2024, there was a lot of good things shown that entire week. But I have to say, this was truly one of my favorites. And not only because the story just looked so good and because I truly feel Daisy Ridley is a phenomenal actor. And I know everybody, kind of attached her to her role as Rey in the Star Wars trilogy. But like she's done some really, really good work since. The Marsh King's Daughter, which is something I saw last year, is a film you might want to make a stop and see. I thought her performance in that was really good. But here she comes now back as the lead. And for what I saw in the trailer, I said, oh, this looks incredible. And in fact, this film not only was incredible, but it was like inspiring. It was empowering. It was uplifting. Like this film just really told a rich story, and again based on a true story that you definitely need to watch, and you're going to leave out with a ton of emotions and truly seeing just a work of art across the board. But with that being said, like Daisy Ridley, she's a phenomenal actor, and if you are somewhere somehow still on the fence about that, this film is going to change your mind 1,000%. She is playing the person, because this is based on a true story, Trudy, who is a competitive swimmer who back in 1926, she was the first woman to ever cross the English Channel. And there's so much to say beyond that, but Trudy's story is, as I said, very empowering. It's uplifting. It is inspirational. Like, there's so much about her story and all the adversity that she was against. Because if there's one thing that this film makes very clear, that in the early 1900s, men did not like women. They did not like women to succeed. They did not like women to outshine them. I mean, in every element that a woman would do anything outside of cooking and cleaning or just anything in the house, there was some way, somehow, a measure of scrutiny and hate and bigotry against them. And the film was not short of these moments at all. They made it very, very clear that men hated women. But at the same time, that never stopped so many women, and especially Trudy, in terms of reaching their goals and fully living out their potential. And I don't want to give everything about Trudy's story away, but like, let's just put it this way. There was a moment where they pretty much, as a young child, thought she was going to die. And the doctors had said, like, listen, this is it. Say your goodbyes. And she was like, hey, so what's for dinner tonight? And everybody was like, wait, what? And that was just the first step in terms of the things she would overcome. But in this film, you're getting some humor. But ultimately, I think what's really on display is the physicality. And I hadn't looked this up, but let's just call it what it is. If Daisy is actually out there doing all of her stunts, phenomenal. But nonetheless, whoever's doing the stunts in this measure of swimming that's in the film, phenomenal. And it has some very, very, very cool. The cinematography is amazing, but the aquatic visuals, just so good. Some of the underwater shots, above sea. I mean, so many different moments that they really, top tier cinematography here in terms of like taking us through the action in the water. But then also because this is the 1900s and it's taking place partially in New York, getting to see New York in this time period, the aesthetic and building the city, I thought was really done well. I did not realize that Nathan's hot dogs were around that long. You could get a 5-cent hot dog. I was like, okay, wow, But, with that being said, too, I just think that they did a really good job in terms of establishing these set locations, the water, and as I said, the aquatic shots that they had, and just really bringing the action. But ultimately, because Daisy's such a phenomenal actor, Renee got really up close and personal with her. You really felt her emotions, really just through her facial expressions. They did a phenomenal job with that. I spoke a lot about Daisy already, but I have to say Jeanette Hain, who is Gertrude, who is Trudy's mother, I almost want to say she steals the movie because she's so good as a supporting actor in this, that Jeanette has some of the best moments hands down in the film, because this is a mother who fully supported her daughters throughout everything that they've been through. And every single time somebody tried to tell her no, or tried to detour her, or tried to give her some crap, she wasn't taking it. She put her foot down. She stood on business. It's a powerful performance that you can't help but to cheer and root for. So it's truly, truly good. And, the film is like a little over 2 hours. They spend almost no time as young Trudy, but the mom consistently across the board is delivering no matter what age Trudy is. So I love that, like, in the measure of this being a biography or biopic, that you can tell just how much honor and respect there was for her mother, to ensure that her mother was shown as one of her biggest supporters. Her sister was the person she looked up to. Her father was making the money, who was a man, so he definitely was like, nah, my daughter can't do that, da 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 da. But like the mother, from beginning to end, was always in her corner. So yeah. And then I think there was good banter amongst the sisters there. Tilda played Margaret, so you had Margaret and Trudy, who against all odds were really young girls just trying to find their way. Margaret's story goes a different direction, but it is about Trudy, who just wanted to be a swimmer, and honestly, them, which I will say that as kids, and even as a family, they witnessed a tragedy, and if the folks that was involved in this tragedy had to know how to swim, they might have survived, and that just motivated her. That not only motivated the mom to want them to get swimming lessons, but beyond that, even with swimming lessons, where could women learn to swim? And it just continued to find different things to overcome that just ultimately motivated her to want to be the best swimmer. And then giving the limited opportunities, and even with her appearing at the Olympics but still being held back, she decided that she had to figure out a way to make her statement in her own, and that was brought her to the English Channel. And again, it's a story that you're just going to feel so many different emotions, but without a doubt, empowering and inspired are two that really, really stick with me when it comes to this film. Now, some of the things that I think was interesting is that they built a lot of like adversities in terms of crossing the English Channel, and they didn't tap into all of them. There was things they were mentioning like, oh, that's going to be a problem, or we're going to have to take this route, and they didn't spend too much time in it. So they really did keep this film on the positive side of things. And yeah, sure, you felt the drama, and again, you felt the bigotry and all of the hatred towards women throughout the film, but like when it came down to like sort of just the challenges and obstacles on the ultimate goal in terms of crossing the English Channel, they didn't tap into all of them, but they did take moments to really show you some of the other really smaller things that she dealt with. The coaches that wasn't in support of her, the men that was posing to like be supporters, but ultimately being, which is the theme that you really got to pick up on there, is that you had people that was, low key acting like they were trying to support her, but really trying to danger her, or really was dangering her, not trying, but were dangering her. So like, you know, at the end of the day, man, you really learn a lot about just how much women have to go through in terms of just trying to do simple things such as swimming. You know, but I think, you know, I really did enjoy the banter between the two sisters, Trudy and Margaret, or Meg as they call her in the field. And then I think that, you know, just everything that she did in terms of being in the water and seeing her crossing, the shots behind with it and so on. You can't help but to smile and cheer for this type of film. And then there's some small Easter eggs in there as well too, because again, with her coming from New York, Babe Ruth being the biggest and most popular athlete in the world at the time, I'm just going to tell you this, that like you want to watch all the way through, because they give you stock footage. You learn more about other details about Trudy's accomplishments and in regards to her life and time on Earth, and then how she ultimately forever changed the course of women's sports, to the fact that Babe Ruth was a fan, and the fact that her parade was deemed as the biggest parade ever in the city of New York. We're talking about the city where the New York Yankees and Babe Ruth played, you know? So understanding like she made that big of an impact, and you're truly going to be inspired, touched, and just so many different moments throughout this film that's going to invoke so many different emotions. So I really love this film. Without a doubt, this is a must watch. I cannot wait for you all to check this out. If y'all have no clue what the English channel is, I'm just going to say like, it's a 21-mile stretch of swimming, and I'm not going to tell you exactly how and how long it took her and whatnot, but let's just say Trudy is the truth. You're going to find out, and then you're going to want to do your research. But by all means, when you check out the film, make sure you stay all the way through the credits, because you want to see the stock footage. And then beyond that, you're gonna want to go do your research and learn more about it. But what an amazing film, and I had a heck of a time with it. And Daisy Ridley, again, if she's not on your radar in terms of just a phenomenal actor, not just the name at all, she's an incredible actor. This role right here, I absolutely feel they will be talking about at the end of the year. So we'll see. But for right now, you go check it out. It's in theaters May 31st. Come back, jump in the comments, let me know your thoughts about it once you do. And as always, stick around for more reviews very soon.